Welcome to another edition of the magazine. We're here at the Shepherd Center for Performing Arts right here in the great town of Fairhaven. And today we're with Bryon Knight and Alyssa Botelho. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So give us an update of what's happening here at the Shepherd Center.
Well, the Shepherd Center has been at this location for a little over a year now, and it's going great guns. We have the community has stepped up for us, and stepped into us here because they really come out for all of our events. We do some free events as well as our featured events. Mm-hmm. And Alyssa was one of our very first cinema featured event.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exciting. We had a screening here of my last short, Sweet Freedom, in November 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, yep.
And it was a full house. It was, do you know how many people it was?
It was 150.
150.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was exciting, yeah.
Yeah, we had to turn people away, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you get capacity.
Absolutely,
so
we have a
that's
capacity.
Good. It's good to be sold out.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. We had some people like my composer came from LA with his girlfriend. There's some of the cast and crew from around here, New Bedford area.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then they did a question and answer afterward. That was really, I had people requesting. I shot the video of the question and answer of the whole event of that night, and I had people contacting me saying, "Hey, I want to see it. I want to see it." I said, "Did you buy a ticket?" Yeah. Okay, great. You'll get to see it.
That's awesome. So tell us about Sweet Freedom.
Yeah, so Sweet Freedom is a short film about 28 minutes, and it's a project about a real historical figure from New Bedford. She lived in the 1800s, and her name's Mary Polly Johnson. Okay. She is Black and Indigenous, and she had her own confectionery shop that she built from scratch with her husband, and it was right in New Bedford, and by the end of her life, she had owned property. She became one of the wealthiest women of color in the city, which was the richest city in the world at the time. Mm. And then the big thing that is notable about her is that her house was a major station on the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
So people who were escaping slavery, including Frederick Douglass and Anna Douglass, where they built their life and freedom was at her house.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is very historical.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those stories that I don't think many people know of her. I didn't know who she was when I read about her online, Mary Polly Johnson. So it's exciting to kind of give someone their due credit, even if it's a couple 100 years later, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you said it's a 28-minute film.
Yeah.
So for a 28-minute film, Alyssa, how long does it take to make a 28-minute film?
Yeah, it's it takes a while. I first came upon her story. It was the summer of, what year are we on now? 2024. So 2022. I learned about her, started putting together pitch materials, and started applying for grants. And then the first grant I got was in the February of 2023. Okay. And then from there it was pre-production. So writing a lot, working with a historical consultant, Jan De Silva in New Bedford, who's amazing, just so that it's accurate and it's both emotionally engaging but informative and does the story justice and the real characters justice. So that took a few months, and then filming was 5 days. Okay. And it's about 12 hours every day. We had a couple of days where we had to go longer, and that comes with all the logistics of that, shooting like 14 hours. But yeah, all in all, because now we're showing it, it's kind of like a 2-year process.
2-year process. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And where did you find your actors?
Yeah, so that was really fun. It was from a bunch of different sources. Just online postings, online casting calls, different websites, professional services. And then a lot of connecting with different theater directors. For example, Mixed Magic Theater in Providence, who I'd never had any contact with them before, so it was kind of a cold call, like, hey, you're doing great work. And I've seen some of your actors online. I think they could be good for this. Would you be willing to connect me with them? And yeah, so it was a lot of sourcing from different areas. Yeah.
And you had a full production crew, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah, full production crew. I think there was about 30 of us.
30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen the trailer, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
And so I don't know if you'd like to invite our public to see the trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Great.
Great.
The tree of family have splintered apart.
Family is not by blood always.
We are not ones to stand in the way of reunion.
Every day I wait, their voices fall deeper into shadow.
The pain of separation, I understand. But you know more than I how they may harness your pain for benefit. Do not hand over the power of your pain.
Well, that was awesome, Alyssa.
Thank you.
You're doing great work. I can't wait to see the full feature.
Thank you. Yeah.
We call it a trailer for the reason, but what do you think, Bryon? The whole production.
The trailer is just little snippets. I've seen we did the pre-screening here at the Shepherd Center, and I've seen the little snippets. When I first saw that, it's like you don't tell you can't really tell what it's about, but oh my gosh, it's great lines, great writing, great cinematography. It's just very, very well done. Just as good as anything you see online on any of the streaming services.
That's
Thank
great.
you. That's
Thank
very
you.
nice.
Well, best of luck with that.
Yeah.
So, is there a movie making class here at the Shepherd Center?
We're just starting it up now. I'm kind of unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm in charge of that. I spent 25 years in television and film many years ago.
Okay.
I'm kind of I'm relearning it. She's teaching me a lot. So. Trying to get that up and going. I would like to get more high school students and more younger people involved to try to teach them beyond what they learn at school. They may be in theater or maybe in video class or whatever, in media class in school. But we'd like to kind of take those tools that they've learned there, put them to work here, and get them to expand out on that and see if they really like the industry, really like this kind of work. It certainly is rewarding. I think it is. I know you think it is.
Yeah.
But like to get more folks doing that.
Oh, good. So, are you going to reach out to maybe Fairhaven High School?
Absolutely.
And
Matter of fact, it goes out.
Yeah.
My letters go out the first of the year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good way to start the year.
Absolutely.
That is a great way to start the year. That would also encourage people to get really into the film industry. Because
And it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
just high school students. It could be anybody. You could come and work with us as well. I mean, we can put you pulling cable and hanging lights and running a camera. Absolutely. You know,
Charlie's an actor.
Yes,
You're gonna
he
get
is.
him in front of the
Well,
camera again.
he's got that down.
That's true. We're gonna do
the
more.
technical
more
part I leave to
skills.
David Fauteux.
Yay, Dave Fauteux!
He is the mastermind behind that, believe me. He's got all the technical part of it,
Yeah.
But yes, I've done some acting before, and I really enjoy acting. That's really.
I
Where,
hear that your wife does acting. Is that true? Is that?
my wife did some modeling in the past.
Ah, that's
but
what it
yeah,
was. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But my daughter has done acting.
Oh.
Yeah, my daughter and I have been in different films together.
We got
So-
folks to get in.
I know.
So it's great. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoy acting. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Those long days feel double.
Yeah.
Well, our
after a
theater
long day.
program is just spinning up here too. It started this fall. We have a great lady who teaches. She used to teach theater at one of the colleges. Gosh, I went blank on it. Carrie Zytek is her name.
Okay.
She's really good, but we're trying to merge the two. We at some point I would love for us to put musicians in the pit doing a musical and shooting it all at the same time. That gets everything, and dancing. That would get everything involved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be awesome.
So is that a goal for 2025?
That's the goal for 2025. Yes, it is, because the dance is spinning up later this spring as well. We have ballroom dancing that's going to start.
What? I didn't know that. That's so exciting. I love that.
So what other things do we have? Because when this is aired, I mean, it's going to be 2025 at that point, or maybe just on the cusp of 2025. So what are some features for 2025 that our public can get used to and come and participate in or be a part of?
You bet. We started with music, the low-hanging fruit, because I own a guitar shop. So we started with music, and we have all kinds of stuff for that. We have music circles, we have open mics, we have musical entertainment, local, regional, some national stuff, which is not really where I was aiming, but they just they have local ties, so they're kind of dropped in our lap here. We've had several sellouts at the Shepherd Center here. We're doing a lot more classes and that kind of stuff. We're about to start a class on being a pit musician for musicals.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because we hope to do that.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we got into was the theater side. No, I'm sorry. The next thing we got in was your cinema stuff. That's it. When you and I met in what, 23?
Yeah. So last summer, So Sweet Freedom is a big budget project. At the end of it all, I ended up being about $55,000, which is insane.
Yeah.
Before that, I had done projects that were like $2,000.
Sure.
So one of the key pieces was I needed a fiscal sponsor, a nonprofit organization, to help me raise certain money it's only limited to nonprofits. They don't give money to individuals.
Okay.
So that's when we had met. It was very serendipitous.
It really was. It was meant to happen.
Yeah.
I literally wrote that into our bylaws that's one of the things we would do is to be a fiscal sponsor for young filmmakers.
Before we'd
ever met.
Wow.
So
you manifested it.
you've done the manifestation here.
It's both.
But yeah,
Good
so she was our next thing that we started was cinema, and then we just started the theater side, and Carrie would love for me to say the dramatic arts side. That's what she wants to say, the dramatic arts.
I like that.
Because she does poetry. We're about to have some poetry slams here. We do storytelling. I have one of my customers who's Jay Allison with NPR out in Woods Hole. Mm-hmm. He does the Moth Radio Hour. He's already told me, he says, yes, we'll work it out. You can be a part of that.
Wow.
So we're like really happy about that. I've had conversations with the Zyterian about having folks over, that kind of stuff. They've mentioned to me that they want to start doing some of their educational projects, even before they get the building done, and even after they get the building done.
Okay.
So then that's music, cinema, theater. Now dance is coming up. I've got a lady. I'm trying to get her on the board of directors, and I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want to put any pressure on her, but. Really want her to get on the board of directors, and be a part of the Shepherd Center for the dance side. She's got several things that she wants to do. One of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some swing dancing and that kind of stuff, because we're going to be doing a sock hop coming up.
Okay.
In which they used to do sock hops in this location in the 50s.
Oh wow.
That's one of the first things they did in this room.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's great.
So there's got another lady that wants to do Dancing with the Local Stars, and this is where he comes in.
Oh.
Dancing with the Local Stars, just like you see on television.
Sure.
But they have the fire chief, the selectman, the town administrator, the local famous person.
Local famous person.
Boy, I'm really articulate on it. So, and have those folks paired with pros and do dancing and have a contest that way.
Oh, that sounds
That
awesome.
is
Sign me up
cool.
for that. That's great.
Can the new tourism director participate in that?
You're in the throes there. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, definitely
So I
want
can
to be a part
embarrass
of that.
myself
That
and
sounds
trip
so
over my
much fun. That sounds great. Dancing with the Stars,
I like
That'd
that.
be great.
I like that.
Dancing with the Local Stars. It's not Dancing with the Stars. It's Dancing with the Local
Local
Stars.
Stars, yeah, local stars.
So we don't want to get any kind of copyright.
That's true. Dancing
But
with the
we are
Local
going to be
Stars.
starting to do some cinema viewings now. I've been in contact with Paramount, with Universal, and Republic on doing some of that stuff. I'm dealing with a company called Swank. Have you heard of those guys?
Yeah.
They are out of and I'm going too deep into this, but they're out of the middle United States, out of Missouri, but they handle, since 1923, they've handled all of the licensing rights for these major motion picture groups in California. Don't know how it came about. I got to do some more research on it.
Sure.
But it sounds really, really interesting, and it's not as cost prohibitive as we thought it was going to be.
Okay.
So we're going to be able to actually show some movies here.
That would be awesome.
Nice.
And use them for classes and that kind of stuff. Because we want to get you to come do a class.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. We had a movie making masterclass in October, kind of a prelude to the screening. Okay. And it got great attendance people were engaged.
We had, 70 people, 75, somewhere around there, about half full.
That's great.
Of the room, but 75 people is a lot in this room, so absolutely. That's a lot of people interested in how movies are made. So there's our audience right there. So.
We went into the writing and directing, editing, cinematography, costume design, and producing. So that was all covered by my key team. We were all there.
That's something that stands out in her movie, in Sweet Freedom, is that the costuming is all authentic. It's all original. There were so many costumes that were made, from what I understand from our talk.
They did a lot, yeah.
Tell him about it.
Yeah. So my costume team it's great because I've like grown up with these people. Claudia Nagalia is my best friend, and we went to high school together, and we did theater together. And while we were in the theater production at Fairhaven High, the woman who was costuming us, Deb Roderick, we pulled her on board. Okay. So it's Claudia and Deb, and then my mom is, she's not a seamstress, but she's really good at making things. I say that she should go into that, but she's like, oh, I'm not that. Anyways, she did a lot of making costumes from scratch too. Wow. A lot of the children's dresses and things like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of Deb's production. She's just phenomenal.
She's a crazy genius.
Well, they all worked really closely with the folks with the Historic Society over in New Bedford.
Yeah.
For a lot of the costuming and stuff. I mean, this is done right.
Yeah, and we were pulling from theater productions around here, like the Marion Arts Center, the players at Barker Playhouse. There was all these different just collaborators in this thing helping to make it.
That's what you can do with a budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
You had a decent budget for
Yeah.
this, and you're able to pull in folks, and then people still want to pitch in for you. They still wanted to help you out.
There was a lot of like, oh, just take this for a reduced rate, which was great.
Wow.
So it was crazy.
Awesome. So you mentioned some of your ties to the Zeiterion. What about the New Bedford Film Office? How is the Shepherd Center tied with them?
I've just met with Sean, is that his name?
Ethan
I
Diaguiar.
got it wrong. Ethan. Don't tell him.
He won't see
He won't see this, right? So I just met with him, and man, we want to throw in any way we can to help. We want to be the educational point for that, for the film office as well. What we'd really like to see is that when a production comes into town or comes into Fairhaven or in the area, into New Bedford, the area, greater New Bedford, when a film company comes in, they don't have to go outside the local area for a lot of their help, a lot of their grips, their electrics, the folks that are building sets. We will have trained them here to do that kind of stuff. That's more money back into our community. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, that's great. Great connection, too. A very good connection. So, Bryon, you said you own a shop in town.
I do.
So what is that all about?
Well, Fairhaven Frets has been here for 5 years now. I'm on Sconticut Neck. But after the pandemic, I started off as a retail shop mostly, but after the pandemic, I had to pivot. I owned a repair shop, one of the largest repair shops in the Mid-South, and sold that, moved up here, and thought I was going to work for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And turned out that the pandemic changed my mind for me. Once I opened my shop up here, actually Bob over at Symphony had told me, why don't you open up a shop? So I did. And right at the pandemic, I had to pivot and go back into doing mostly repairs, which is what I have now. I have a repair shop. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I don't have to advertise. I've got I've got lots of great customers. I think I sent out an email the other day. It was over 950 customers on my list, and that's regular folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Regular customers.
There's people always in there. When I would come in to talk to you about fiscal sponsorship stuff, it's people coming in and out, and it's very familial too. It just feels like
We have a lot of
it's
folks
just
who
really
come in.
nice.
They also like to come in and hang out and
They
drink
do.
coffee.
They do. It's
that's
cute.
fun.
I love it.
Well, that's how the Shepherd Center started. It started as a music circle in my shop.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
then we started doing open mics. And then when they wanted to do more open mics, they wanted to do more stuff. I said, you guys need like a music center or a performing arts center. And one of my buddies, Dave Medeiros, says, well, why don't you start one? And he like pointed me in the direction of the Good Shepherd Church over in North Fairhaven. While that spot didn't work out, we ended up naming it the Shepherd Center, but we're teaching. So that's what we're doing. We're shepherding folks.
Sure.
So it still works. But we're a completely secular organization, but we're releasing from the First Congregational Church here in Fairhaven, and we want to be the best tenants possible. They seem to like us. We love having them. They're helping us so much. Sure. So again, that's part of this community, part of this collective community, all of the South Coast for that matter. Mm-hmm. Everybody has been so generous and so kind coming in to see our events. We're still a little unknown to some folks. We're known to some people downtown Fairhaven, I think, but they're starting to come in for the music circles and the open mics that we have. Those events are free during the week. Music circle every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And then the open mics are first and third Wednesdays at 6 p.m. And then second and fourth Wednesdays we do another music circle that's folk Americana. And that's banjos and mandolins and fiddles and all kinds of stuff like that.
So people just come on in.
They come in just to watch, and it ends up being a sing along, because inevitably somebody in the group says, "Well, hey, do you know any more Bob Dylan, or does that count as folk?" Absolutely counts as folk. So we do sing alongs on songs.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, we were fortunate to have you on the magazine in the past, so it's good to hear an update of how successful small business is doing in that town.
We're doing well. I'm approaching that retirement age here in the next few years. We'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. But I'm got this going on
Sure.
and doing that as well. So I've got 2 full-time jobs.
You do. And speaking about full-time jobs, Alyssa,
Yeah.
tell us what's happening in your life.
Yeah. So in September 2024, I began as the town's community development coordinator, which is essentially the tourism director and economic development director. It's like a rebrand and restructuring of the departments. And it's been great. It's my full-time job now. I'm working out of the town hall.
Okay.
And it's all about art, culture, history, and business development. You know, a lot of like what you're doing with the Shepherd Center, and it's been awesome.
And I know that you just had a recent event.
Yes.
And you changed it up a lot.
Yeah. So Old Time Holiday. I guess it was kind of my like inaugural event coming into this position. That event has been happening every year since the 90s. This was the 26th year of Old Time Holiday. And it's always been the town hall, the Congregational Church, the Unitarian Church having their own vendor fairs. Mm-hmm. And I've been coming to it since I was a kid. Sure. And
the Congregational Church.
I said the Congregational Church.
She did.
And the nonprofits have their own luncheons, and it's really supportive for, all the community groups and things like that. And so I love immersive events, and something that's so special about Fairhaven is we've got that old time charm, and that's why it's called Old Time Holiday, and these magnificent European style buildings. So I really wanted to have it be a place where more and more families could come and enjoy themselves and kind of spend the whole day, sure, rather than kind of going through and going through quick and leaving. So I was focused on adding more attractions and engaging things like pony rides. The rec center came out to do reindeer games with obstacle courses and relay races. We had a couple dessert trucks in the street. The animal shelter came out for the North Paw Petting Zoo. Yeah, more music and fire pits. That was a hit too. So you can smell the fire as you're, walking by the horses, the kids and the horses. And yeah, it was a good time. And there's a lot of people. I could not believe the amount of people that came out for it. And
Do you have an average about how many people came?
yeah, so I talked with the police who were doing the police detail, and I think it was about 11:30 or 12, and Lieutenant Sabral, he had said, I think we've got like about 800 people already who have come out. So all in all, we probably got about 1,500.
Yeah, it was crowded.
I didn't even get to go in here. I didn't even get to... Yeah, so it was crowded.
They always have some great food in here.
Oh, yeah.
The temperature shuts down. That's one part of our lease is that we shut down so they can do that.
Sure.
Because we don't want to disturb that. I'm all about keeping food flowing. Absolutely. So they did a really good job in here. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it was all in all maybe about 1,500, 2,000 people came out for it. So
that's amazing.
Now comes next year, more logistics and parking and traffic flow and all that. And yeah, I heard a couple of people kind of in frustration, but they were saying as they were approaching the event, what is this, the homecoming fair? It's like, I'll take that. That's a compliment. We just gotta figure it out now.
It's the winter one.
Yeah, it's the winter one.
That's great. So if someone wants to get in touch with the Shepherd Center, how would they go about doing that?
If you're in touch with the Shepherd Center, it's theshepherdcenter.org. Okay. That's our website, and it's SHEPHERD, Shepherd. So theshepherdcenter.org, or you can call 508-894-7437. I have to remember that. I've got so many numbers in my head. Okay. But it's really, if ever you want to find anything about what's going on, the website, we have a wonderful web person, Kate Collis. I can't say enough about her. She's all volunteer. Everybody at the Shepherd Center is volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers. Yeah, you can check out our website. It'll have everything on there. We've got some things coming up. We're going on hiatus over the holiday, but starting in January, we're hitting it hard and going to have something almost every weekend.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both so much for being part of the Shepherd Center for Performing Arts. It's great to have this gem in our community, and I thank you, Bryon. I thank you, Alyssa, for bringing so much to our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.